Okay, we're here. We're live. We have one person that's in a remote location, another person that's in their home. Mandy, how are we doing today?
Amani, I'm fabulous.
Okay,
Week
good.
two, week two in the renovation rental, and all
Okay.
is going smooth as silk. So far, so great.
All right. All right. That's good then. So pretty small updates from you. Do you have anything exciting that is going to be happening over 4th of July weekend?
I don't know. Well, this is anniversary week. So my wedding anniversary is Wednesday. So we'll do a lover's walk on Wednesday around the park with the dog, the family walk. And then I think we'll probably hang out at our pool on Friday because it's going to be one of the last weekends where we have an accessible bathroom. So we'll probably enjoy our backyard for one final summer weekend before the bathrooms become completely unavailable. But yeah, that'll be a weekend. I think we'll go to Padres game on Saturday. My friend has a book launch on Sunday. It's going to be a busy weekend.
What happens once the bathrooms become unavailable?
The workers use the porta potties.
Okay, and what do the residents use?
We're not living there.
Oh, okay, okay.
We don't use our pool if we use our pool in our backyard, we knock on Kathy and Steve's door across the street and ask them if we can go potty in their bathroom. Or we use the porta potties out front. I don't know.
Yes.
This is all new. I'll let you know. I don't know what'll happen. We'll see. That's why we're going to use the pool on Friday while we still have operable bathrooms.
Don't use the porta potty. Yes, don't use the porta potty.
Now, where are you? Where do we find you right now? You're in a nondescript location over there.
Yes, undisclosed location. Cannot tell anyone knows. Right now, I'm at the National Harbor in Washington, D.C. It's a hotel. Actually, I'm on the Maryland side, and I've been here all weekend for book launch. Yesterday, I was at Morgan State University in Baltimore, which we're going to talk to our guest about. And then today I'll be at downtown D.C. at another book event. So that's what I've been doing.
Exciting. Amani, now, how did you secure these book events? Was that through Julie and Book Launchers? Was that you? How did that go down for you?
So it's a combination. So my aunt, who is on the board for Morgan State University, set that one up. So that was yesterday.
Awesome. Thank you, Auntie.
Yes, thank you, Aunt Alma. I set up the one for today that's in the DC area. So it was my solicitation.
Awesome. Just pounding the pavement, Amani.
Girl, let me tell you, it's time for a rest. Let me tell you, Jude has been busy.
I know. Okay, last week you had so much success over WEC, all those interviews and all your book events, and you're going to treat yourself to some pancakes. Have you had the pancakes yet?
Not yet, but I will. Let me get home first. Let me get back to Vegas first. Yes.
You got to put the pancakes in the calendar. You got to celebrate your wins, Monty. Put the pancakes in the calendar.
You're right. Okay. Yes, I'm on it. I think that was it. So let's talk about our guest today. I'm super excited. I met her through Brand Builders Group. I remember we shared an Uber coming home from a retreat. I think it was April of last year. We'll have to verify. But we have April Diaz joining us. We have lots of interesting questions. I want to know many things. So what we're going to do now is we'll switch the interview screen. And there you see April on the screen there. So hello, April. How are we doing?
Hey, it's so good to be with you all. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it is our honor to have you with us. My first question, I'm going to kind of give you a softball. I'm going to give you a softball to start off with, is if you were going to define who April Diaz is in 30 seconds.
Oh, gosh.
Go ahead.
That is not a softball question. I can say multitudes, my friends. Okay, I am a leader, CEO, wife, married my high school sweetheart. We have three kiddos. That was number 4, though. 3 kiddos, all teenagers. I am a beach lover and a fanatic reader and a ferocious learner. I'm an Enneagram 8 with a 7 wing. That's probably bullet points for 30 seconds.
Okay, so back to the Enneagram. Why are you also classified as like a tomboy within that classification?
I think it's because one of my dad's mantras or philosophies in raising me was that I would be able to stand on my own 2 feet in a man's world. Now, I have a bone to pick with that phrase and that terminology even now as an adult, as a grown woman. You too, Mandy. We can.
I'm like, man's world, it's our world.
Yeah. No, it's our world. But that was his mindset, right? And so I had 2 brothers, a very strong dad. And so I think, and most of my friends growing up were men or boys. And so I just kind of always was drawn to that. But I think my old bio says like I was a tomboy with sparkly shoes. So I've always been like, wear the pink lipstick and love the girly things. But I've always just been a very strong leader. And so that's what kind of drew me into the tomboy stuff. I wasn't drawn to like a lot of the stereotypical girl things growing up.
Got it. Now, if we were to go back and we were listening into April when she was giving her first sermon, what would April be preaching about during the first sermon?
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, that was like 25 years ago. That's a whole nother lifetime.
We have to go back to see the progress and the evolution going forward.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it may have had something to do, because this has always been a part of me, is what does it look like to live your life in all of its fullness? There's a verse in the New Testament of the Bible that says that Jesus came to give us life in all of its fullness. Actually, I have the word tattooed on my wrist here, life. And I've always been obsessed with this idea of how do you live your life fully? Maybe because in part I saw a lot of people that weren't living their lives fully growing up, but also because that's kind of the nature of just my intensity and my challenging personality is like, how do I suck the marrow out of life? And so it probably had something to do with that.
Okay. Mandy, over to you.
Well, I want to hang here in the 30 seconds or less April Diaz description really quick, because you talked about your high school sweetheart, Brian, right? Is it Brian?
Yep, Brian.
And I know it's been said in the past that one of the most important business decisions that anyone can make is how to choose their partner, right? And not necessarily financially, right? But find somebody that supports you, cheers you on, supports your dreams, and challenges you. So how does picking your high school sweetheart for this, how does being with Brian align with that important business decision?
I love that you described it like that, because I was actually just on a coaching call last week with a woman who's about my age, but she's single again. And that was one of the things that she is kind of working through herself now in entering into the dating world again, is how do I make the best decision? Because it is very much, research shows that like women specifically, the trajectory of their career and the capacity for their vocational fulfillment has so much to do with the partner that they sync up with. So honestly, Mandy, it feels like 1,000 graces and miracles and luck. And I don't know how we stumbled onto this, because we met when we were 17. Like, who knows anything at 17? And then when you say like, hey, I kind of want to spend the rest of my life with you, and you have no idea what that means. We've been together for over a quarter of a century. We've gone through like 15 different iterations of ourselves individually, which means like together we've had to figure that out. And he's still my favorite person. He is still like just the best man I've ever met. Like we're astonished at the fact that we've been able to stay together and stay this connected. And unequivocally, hands down, he is the most supportive, the strongest advocate, the biggest cheerleader for me, like without question. I mean, he never has held me back one moment. It has always just been like, go babe, go, and kicks my butt and kisses me on the cheek and all of it. You know, it's wild.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, I've got a two-part question just relating to that. What does he do that helps you feel whole? You're obviously very capable of making yourself feel whole, right? But when you've got a partner, there's always an element of like, they give you that nudge. So what does he do that helps you feel whole?
I think there's a couple of things that have felt most important even in these last couple of years. We've been to hell and back these last couple of years. And the things that have felt most important in this iteration of our relationship is one, okay, let me give a little context. I have historically growing up felt like too much in my personality, in my leadership gifts, in my communication gifts, all of that. Like it didn't fit the box in the mold. Brian has never, ever, ever made me feel like too much, not only in my strengths, but also in my vulnerabilities. And these last couple of years have been phenomenally vulnerable for me. I have been at the lowest of lows, and he has been able to hold space for all of it, for the multitudes that I contain, right? Like none of it has freaked him out. None of it has made him go underground. None of it has made him go like, where's the door? I'm about ready to hit the exit. He's been able to hold space for all of it, which is remarkable. Like I tell folks, he's got the highest EQ out of probably any man I've ever met before. It's pretty amazing. But the other thing that has felt really, really important, especially as a CEO, as a business owner, he calls me on my bullshit all the time. And whether that is like false beliefs or limiting mindsets, or I don't think I can do this, or even in like grandiosity things, right? He just will call me on my bullshit and help me to anchor myself. So there's this weird tension of like, he anchors me so much and grounds me in reality, and then just has no limitations for what I can do in soaring.
Oh, that's beautiful. I can relate to that because my husband always says, he's like, I'm your off switch and your guardrails. And he is. Like we April, you and I, we're people that need that, and we don't even know we need it until somebody does it. And we're like, but they have to do it in the right way. So I'm really glad that Brian is that for you. That's really awesome. I want to hang here with wholeness, and I want to talk about your wholeness assessment. What is it? What is your wholeness assessment? How did it come about? How do we do it?
Yeah, it originated 20 years ago. I had the gift of receiving professional, like amazing coaching for the very first time in my mid-20s. And that coach, his name is Dr. Jack Grapple, put me through an assessment that his company used. And it was similar to ours. He actually helped me create this because his assessment has been taken by millions of people over 40 different countries globally. Like he's kind of the bomb. But when I started like thinking through how did I want to structure and kind of create this business, I knew that I wanted a validated, legit assessment that helped folks, particularly leaders, really get a reality check of what does their wholeness levels look like in 6 different interconnected parts. So we are measuring physical, emotional, mental, relational, spiritual, and renewal. In that order, they build on each other on purpose. And it really helps for leaders particularly to see what their gauge levels are at, how they are doing. And when one area is kind of like sucking wind, it makes a difference in the other ones. But then the reverse can be true. When you're soaring in another, it can help to bring up the waterline. So we just wanted to give leaders a really good sense as to what's happening holistically, because when you don't pay attention holistically, like that's where we see so many issues blow up in leaders' lives and in their leadership. So yeah, it's on our website, and I'm sure we can link it at some point, but it's 120 questions, and it gives very specific personalized results and frameworks around how do you grow in your holistic leadership.
I love that. I want to take it because I turned 50 in August, and last year on my 49th birthday, I was like, I want to wake up on my birthday, 50th birthday, August 9th, feeling comfortable.
Wait, your birthday's August 9th?
Yes. No. Your birthday's August 9th too? No,
I turned 46 on August 9th.
What?
Mandy!
Leos!
It's also Whitney Houston's birthday. I don't know if you knew that, but
I do know
she was
that.
kind of an icon.
Oh, I do know that. Like Whitney was my first concert I ever went to in 1986. Yes, I love sharing a birthday with Whitney Houston. Oh my gosh, April, how cool. And I am with you on a tomboy with sparkly shoes. Like that's totally my jam. So this is so great. But I have to take your wholeness test because it reminds me of my best. I created this little thing for myself called Best by 50, BB50. And I wanted to wake up on August 9th, on our twin birthday. And I wanted to feel comfortable in 6 categories. And the categories are similar to yours. So the categories were financial, business, spiritual, emotional, physical, nutritional. And it was like, so I've been chipping away at these little monthly goals for the last like year and a half. So when I wake up on our birthday this year, I will have achieved that. But like, then what after? So I'm like looking for that next thing. And I feel like the world aligned us together today. Like I got to take your wholeness assessment because now it's like going to catapult to whatever the next thing is.
Yeah, I will send it. I will link it. We will link it to the show notes.
Okay.
It's one of the things I'm most proud of because it is so freaking good. It just gives a really good pathway for where do you go from here, and understanding why each of those 6 parts is so critical if you're going to have a holistic leadership life. And where do you go from here? Because it's a work in progress, right? At no point do any of us like reach some sort of destination in becoming our whole selves. I think it is forever and always, as long as we have breath in our lungs. I take it myself, like every 6 months, to just kind of reassess, like what's really going on, what do I need to pay attention to, what have I been forgetting, because we are forgetful human beings, right? What do I need to bring back to the surface? What's the piece that's kind of like dragging me down? What's all of that? Like it just helps me to really frame my growth strategically.
I'm going to make that a part of the birthday of like August 9th. I am taking the wholeness assessment. That's a part of my birthday plan. Okay. Exciting.
Oh, Mandy, that's so cool. Happy birthday. And 50, that's no joke. That's an important one to celebrate.
Hell yeah, it is. And happy early birthday to you too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So
sorry, Monty.
Monty, you're here too.
Oh, Monty, welcome back. Sorry.
Is your birthday August 9th?
April and I just went on a quick date. Yes. I guess we can bring you back in here.
Thank you. September 14th is my birthday, so thank you.
All right, close enough.
Yes. So I got a 2-part or 3-part question, because Mandy and I, we play a little tennis here. But I want to know from you first, like, out of all the people you've coached hundreds, thousands of people, what have been the most common positive attributes that have allowed them to continue to succeed over an extended period of time?
It's a great question. Okay, I'm just going to say them in the order that they pop into my perimenopause brain. So I would say hunger, like a hunger for change, a hunger for growth, a hunger to not settle into the status quo, a hunger for not settling, a desire to kind of keep growing into the next level. So I would say that's kind of a big bucket. I would also say a commitment to investing in themselves. I don't know one single leader who has got to where no one is self-made. Like that line always just pisses the hell out of me, because nobody is self-made. We are the collection of our ancestors. We are the collection of our families of origin. We are a collection of those who have spoken into us for better, for worse, up until this moment. And the leaders who are kind of continually expanding in their own potential and capacity are those folks that are going, I need strategic, wise, deliberate, trained voices that will help me do that. So particularly, I think it looks like, therapists, mentors, and coaches who are going to help you do that, because they help you to take a look at your past, present, and your future in a more holistic framework. So yeah, I think that's the second one. And then I also just think like there's a humility, which probably is connected to hunger, of going like, I haven't figured it all out yet. And there's always like room for greater perspective or for, expanding a worldview or whatever the case may be. So I think that there's a lot of humility there. And then I'll connect this next one. I have worked a lot with women, but I've also worked a ton with men, because I have been like the kind of the lone female voice in a lot of spaces that I've been in. And one of the things that I have noticed around like really successful leaders is not only a high EQ, which is really the number one indicator of your success, but also voices and community and connections that are diverse. Because when you're surrounded by people who look, sound, smell, come from the same backgrounds as you, like, what are we even doing here? So I just think like when I look at leaders who are like robust and who I want to follow and who are really making a great impact, it's because they've surrounded themselves with people who are not like them, and they continually are learning from. So I'm sure I would think of something smarter if I had some time to think about it, but those definitely pop to mind.
That was very smart. Why do you feel EQ is like the most important attribute for leaders?
Well, that's what the research says. Literally the number one indicator of success is your emotional intelligence. It's more important than your IQ. It's more important than your knowledge. It's more important than your education. It's more important than your connections. It's your emotional intelligence.
Understood. Now, which one of these attributes, or a few, were the kind of main foundation for allowing you to get through your tough time the past 2 years? Because you said you've been through hell and beyond. How were you able to get through that?
It's a great question. I I don't know that I have enough hindsight yet to really know, but I definitely know I'm a deeply faithful person. I've got a lot of faith, and it doesn't look like everyone else's necessarily, but my faith is really important to me, and that has been majorly grounding, majorly anchoring. I also think that when you are going through any sort of transition or loss, you've got to have a collection of folks who are going to help you sustain, right? And that looks like friendships, that looks like a partner, that looks like family, that looks like just outside voices, like those kind of mentors, coaches, folks that I brought up before. So all of those people were at play for me. But what I believe also is, like, when you're in a shitty place, that's not the time to build that collection of people. Like, you need to have it beforehand, because you got to tap into it, right? Like, you need to have money in the bank with those folks to be like, I need some food. I need you to cover this bill. I need to, like, just talk to you and vent it all out. I need to sit in your office and pay you $200 for a therapy appointment, right? Like, you don't have capacity when you're in a dark place to build that. And so I think what has been really sustaining for me has been 20 years of really deliberate work of who are the people that I trust, that I can be vulnerable with, that I can share all my shit with, and invite you to speak into my life and to, like, hold me up. So yeah, I think those couple of things have been huge.
Good. Well said. Back to you, Mandy.
I think I caught it. I got the pickleball. Thank you, Lonnie. April, if you're comfortable, you've mentioned a lot about the worst 2 years of your life and burning in and out of it, and you've got some mantras surrounding it. If you're comfortable with it, can you share with our audience what happened in the worst 2 years of your life?
Yeah, I am. I'm totally willing to share everything, because I'm committed to not wasting anything from these last couple of years. However, I would also, as a caveat, say I don't think comfortability matters. I think that, like, your transformation is on the other side of comfortability. And so a lot of even the work that I do with folks is like, I don't really care if you're comfortable. I will do my best to create some brave spaces for you to share your stuff. But comfortability is kind of what's keeping you from breakthrough and growth and connection and all of that. So that's my little disclaimer caveat, but I am comfortable with it. So March 30th, 2023, got crazy sick, like overnight, just my body collapsed. And up until that point, I was healthiest, strongest, fittest, leanest that I'd ever been in my life. So the fact that I had gotten that sick on that day was really out of nowhere and felt very disorienting, because I never got sick. And ended up going to the urgent care, taking a bunch of tests, being referred to my primary care, taking a whole bunch more tests, being referred to a specialist, taking a whole bunch more tests. At the end of that first few months, which by and large I was pretty non-functional for those first couple of months, everything came back normal. I had over 200 blood tests, had been referred to like 3 or 4 different specialists, plus multiple appointments with urgent care and my primary care. Everything came back normal. And started doing some of my own research, because they were all like, don't know, maybe you'll get better. They had initially thought it was post-COVID. But like, that's kind of just a shrug too, because there's not a lot of science or data or treatment or anything around that. It's just kind of like, well, you're not good, but we don't know what it is. And in my own research led me to seeing a functional medicine doctor. And in November of 2023, after a pretty quick intake with them, got a different battery of tests done, and I ended up testing with highly elevated mold toxicity. Yeah, jaw drop. Like,
it is a jaw drop. Yeah, people listening, my jaw literally just dropped.
Yeah, it was very unedited jaw dropping. So they put me on a treatment plan like immediately, and within the first couple of weeks, started feeling a difference because of the treatment that I was on. But I mean, I'm still in treatment. It's been a year and a half, I guess, since I've been in like really intense treatment. 2024, I had over 200 medical claims, over $200,000 of medical expenses. It's just been a wild, wild journey. Ended up being from the home that we were living in. So we had to move. And it has, as a business owner, nobody just automatically pays me every 2 weeks just because I'm, showing up to work or taking vacation days or taking disability. Like, none of that existed. And so, yeah, it's been catastrophic on so many levels. We talk about those 6 different dimensions of physical, emotional, mental, relational, spiritual renewal. Every one of those, it has had just massive, massive impact. So unequivocally the hardest 2 years of my life. And I've been through some stuff, I've been through some hard things, but I've never had my body collapse like that and be unable to function. And I've also never been, my home has always been my safe space. It's always been my sanctuary, my haven, like where I come to recover. And my home was trying to kill me and my body was not functioning. So it was just deeply disorienting.
Had you had any physical warning signs leading up to that, like that would have indicated anything? Or because I know there's so many like pink flags sometimes and we ignore them, right? Like I'm guilty as that as well. But like, had you had any warnings, or were you like nothing? Your body just decided one day, like, hey, we don't like this and we're quitting.
Yeah, it was definitely more of the latter. Our family had just gone on a 10-day trip to the East Coast. And so the doctors think that what was happening just in the travel and being exposed in a different environment kind of activated something different in my body. And just also the exposure over a period of time, it finally got to a point where like the toxin load in my body just could no longer handle and process it. And so kind of that combination of factors coming home and being back in our home, my body crashed. It was wild.
I am so sorry. That's such a crazy story. How do you feel today? Like at this moment, how do you physically feel?
I feel good. I'm like probably 90% back to my like fullest capacity. I just joke with people now that I've traded mold for perimenopause. And that's a real fun time, Mandy.
My favorite topic, Amani. I can't tell you how many networking circles we've been in and I'm like talking about perimenopause with people and Amani's like, I'm going to leave now. I'm like, oh, no.
No. You stay.
You stay. Like, this is, you're a man with sisters and like the family members and friends and like lots of ladies.
And coworkers.
Yeah,
it's a daily conversation.
I was just literally somewhere just the other day. My husband's like, oh, I guess we're talking about perimenopause again. Yeah, it's a part of it.
Yes.
The mold thing is stressful and we've all been through a lot of stress in our lives. But you said something that resonated with me recently about how stress can be a superpower or you can use stress to your advantage. How can people reframe that? How can people use stress to their advantage? Like, what are your tips for that?
I love this topic of conversation. Stress is actually required for growth, right? So like from a physical standpoint, we know that if we want to run a marathon or we want to like get strong muscles or cut some abs, like, you know that you have to put your body underneath stress, strategic stress, in order to expand capacity. So if you're going to run, I've run 2 half marathons. I'm not a runner, but I did it because of my own growth I needed to have. And I mean, it's been a long time, but I mean, I knew that like going to be able to run a half marathon, I needed to train my body, right? And I needed to put my body underneath strategic stress in order to go from being unable to run a mile to being able to run 13.1 miles in 6 months later. So first I would say, yes, that stress is actually really important for you to put your body, your leadership under if you want to grow, but it has to be strategic stress. And because your body only has 2 options when it comes to dealing with stress. You either metabolize it through your body or you metastasize it within your body. It's the only 2 ways your body can deal with stress. So when you're under stress, which again, could be mostly be good because it's inviting you into growth and into kind of new levels of leadership or of capacity, you have to be able to metabolize it. Otherwise it metastasizes within you. And when it metastasizes in you, that's where we see burnout. I mean, all kinds of mental health issues, all sorts of physiological issues, relational breakdowns, spiritual breakdowns, all kinds of stuff. It literally takes over every single part of your life. But the best tip that I have for metabolizing stress through your body is that you need to move your body with an elevated heart rate for 20 to 60 minutes every day. That's what the research shows. It's the most effective and efficient way to metabolize stress. Is to move your body with an elevated heart rate for 20 to 60 minutes every day. And then you're working your stress through your body. It's not getting locked up within your body. So when we talk about like movement being so important within like the physical dimension, that is a huge part of it, is it connects to that stress or that renewal part is you being able to like literally work that stress out of you.
I love that, and I love thinking about it as a superpower. Like it can you can work through it. You can come out the other side because you did have the stress. That's good.
Now, you mentioned before that you love to read. So if I was to drop April on a desert island or a deserted island with only 3 books that she could read, which 3 books would you pick and why?
That's like torture right there.
Decisions.
I would say the Bible.
Okay.
Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Brene Brown, got it.
And The Inner Voice of Love by Henry Nouwen.
So explain why you chose the latter 2 books.
Okay. Dare to Lead. I mean, Brene Brown is my patron saint. It is a personal goal for me to be on her podcast someday. I adore her. She has taught me so much. Particularly, it started with vulnerability and teaching me how to do that, because vulnerability, I do believe, also is your superpower, Mandy. But I used to think it was like my Achilles heel, like the thing that would take me out. So she taught me first about vulnerability, but I think that the way that she talks about leadership is the way that I think about leadership. It is power with, it's not power over. That it is all about like helping people to get to the places where they need to go, even if they don't want to go there. And so that book, I just finished rereading it actually with my mastermind group this month. And it was like, I'd read it before, I'd read sections of it before, and it like took on a whole new life for me, because it was like where I'm at in my leadership journey right now. It teased out some things that I really need to pay attention to. So, I mean, I'm on a desert island. I don't know who I'm leading other than myself.
And the
Well,
fish.
no, you're
And
leading your
Wilson.
clients, you're leading your kids, you're leading your vendors, like business owners.
Yes, now, but if I'm on a desert island, though,
Wilson.
I'm not leading anyone other than me.
Wilson is who you're leading too. Wilson is also there.
Wilson.
Wilson.
You might be leading nature, leading the water. You don't know. Mother Nature.
I'm just preparing for life on the other side of the deserted island. Like, I just know I'm getting off of it. So I'm like taking a pullback to reflect. So that's Dare to Lead. The Inner Voice of Love, Henry Nouwen was a contemplative. He's since passed, but he's like just my favorite for kind of going into the deep places internally and paying attention to, what is guiding you, what is motivating you, where are your intentions from, how do you serve people best? So just that the title of that book, The Inner Voice of Love, resonates so deeply that like there is something within me that is loving. And if I was on a deserted island, I would need to be reminded of that, because I would start feeling like I was going crazy.
Okay. So I want to go back to the client that you were working with, or friend, and she was like getting back into the dating scene. And we
do you want her number?
No, well, we could talk about that. If you think she's a good match, you give me her number. I trust you, April. I'll trust you, April.
This is good. I like this. Amani, set it up.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, don't apologize. But Manny always gives you a hard time anyways. Anytime someone mentions dating, she's like, oh, Amani. So, but like, what do you, because you've mentioned this a few times, like off air when we were together at BBG, like how do you encourage your clients, particularly the ones that are like struggling with like dating, to kind of keep the faith when faith is so important to you? How do you translate your love of and belief to them?
It's a great question. I'd be so curious for you to ask clients what they experience of me in that, because I don't know. I think that one of the reasons why clients are drawn to work with me is because we do share some measure of faith, spirituality, a sense that like it's more than just me floating out here in the world. And so I think that sometimes we hold each other's faith for each other, like belief, like we can hold out belief for one another when we need it. I know that that's true for me. And it's true in even working with clients, right? Like I get bolstered by seeing whatever bloom in them, that doesn't maybe needs to hit in me a little bit more. This is very mutual. But yeah, I think that there's a part of that. It's like it's already within them and they simply need somebody to help hold some space or to midwife it into reality for themselves again. I mean, one of my core beliefs as a coach is you already have everything within you. I'm not giving you anything.
Mhm.
I get to call out and remind you and reinforce and midwife it all into reality, like into the external. So I don't think I'm answering your question at all. I'm kind of talking around it, but I don't know. I don't know what I do.
All right. Well, you explained it very well, but it's actually a really good segue because now we're to the point of the program where we flip the script and let you ask both myself and Mandy a question. Any question you want to ask. So who are you going to ask a question to first, and what is that question?
Okay, it's actually to both of you, and I want you to answer the same question. And I'll preface it by saying I think that partnership between men and women in every space is crucial in full mutuality, right? It is that power with, right? That there's no this thing going on. There's give and take. Obviously, somebody takes lead, sometimes whatever. But I am obsessed and really committed to that type of leadership for myself and for like creating more of that in the world. So the question for the two of you is, how do you partner with one another in your work? And what is it that you see in one another that you deeply respect and that you choose to follow each other in? And Mandy can go first.
Good
Okay.
And I'm going to plug in my computer because my computer's dying. My kids unplugged it. So
Go
give a second.
She's like, talk amongst yourselves. We'll like power up. Yeah. What a good question. I got to think about this. I mean, in terms of partnering, I think Amani and I communicate really well. Like we're texting, we're emailing, we've set up some systems from a business perspective that allow us to communicate pretty well. And we stick to the systems. And if something's broken in the system, like one of us will say, this is broken, we got to fix it, and somebody fixes it. Like I think we're pretty, I don't know if that's just the nature of podcasting too. I think the mindset around podcasting is like, we started this thing 3 years ago. We really didn't know what we were doing, and we're building in public and we're learning in public. So I feel like that mindset translates into our business relationship where it's like, we don't know I've never been in business with a coworker, a colleague, a dude like any before. And I think we're learning along the way. And I think we're both open to learning. Like we're open to making mistakes and being like, oh crap, I screwed up. Or like, oh crap, you screwed up. Like both of us, like I think we're just very open to helping each other. I don't know, Amani. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's how I feel about it.
Okay.
What do you respect in Amani?
Oh,
like gosh, why do you choose to be in partnership with him?
There's so many things. I have so much respect for Amani. First of all, Amani is one of the kindest human beings I have ever met in my whole life. I totally, just aside from respecting him, it is a joy and it's a privilege to know you, Amani, and to know somebody so kind like that. He makes me kinder because I can be an asshole sometimes, and he makes me kind. And I do think, because I look at this with this lens, it's not just me bulldozing through. It's like, this is our show. How would we behave? And how would Amani handle this? Like there's like this little, like, what would Jesus do? Right. So it's like, what would Amani do thing? Right. So I really, really respect Amani. He threads kindness through everything that he does. And that's very difficult to do in business. And he does that all the time, unswervably. I really respect his audacity to educate himself on everything. Like he's so curious and he wants to learn and he wants to get, I think about like him just leaving the hotel business and going to DJ school, and then from DJ school going to get his music degree, and from music degree, like becoming an entertainment coach and a professor. And even within the professor realm, like I'm a professor too, but I don't work as hard as Amani. Like he's always changing things. He's always wanting it to be better for the students. He's always morphing and evolving. And I just respect the heck out of that. I think that's really
so cool.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
let's see. Okay, so first of all, what do I respect about Mandy? Like, I like the fact that she's like, she's tough. She's like not a bulldozer, but she's pretty hard. Like she has high expectations, and it's important, and she holds you to a high standard, and that's good. I love that. And then her sales skills are like phenomenal. Like I'm always asking sales questions and getting things, and just that I respect. The way she runs her business and continues to grow, but not just grow for the sake of it, but grow like intelligently. That's like really, that's really good too. So those are like my favorite like three things about like what I respect, and just how, she's not afraid to have difficult conversations, but does it in a way that's like respectful, and like, she'll cheat up like, okay, this might be a difficult conversation, but we got to talk about it or whatever, compared to other people who might just be flat out rude or dismissive. So I really, really, really respect that. In terms of the first part of the question, like, how do we work together? Just many of those things. We're both very curious. Like Mandy says, I'm curious. She's just as curious as I am. We both are always studying, trying to get better. And it's just like, just like no egos. Like we're here, we're learning. We might make a mistake. Things might not work, but we're just kind of put the egos at the door, which is really important. And we just try to create and push each other. And so that's kind of my quick answer for your question.
That's so good.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a time. I could be wrong, Mamani. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's ever been a time where either one of us was like, "You screwed up, it's your fault." Like, and how many work environments have we been in the past where like blame is how it rolls? And I don't. There's never been. And trust me, we have both screwed up. But like,
sure.
Amani's never been like, "What the hell, Mandy? You totally screwed up," and I haven't done that to him. I think it's because there's a commitment. This is a long-term partnership, and I'm not going to shame blame somebody. Like if I would have handled something he handled, I probably would have screwed it up too. So I think just not blaming, like in the normal corporate world, everybody's blaming. I think we're not blamers. I think.
And, I'll say like we've been through some like I went through a really, really tough breakup, like live, living through the pandemic, and not the pandemic, but like through the podcast or whatever. And Manny was there. So, but she was really good. She was really good and helpful and supportive. And that goes a long way because, it's more than just getting here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. in the West. It's more than that. And so that was really well exhibited during that whole process.
Wow, I love that. That's so good. Both of you said something that I would throw back to when you asked about like what makes great clients or what have I loved. I forget the exact question you asked, Mandy, but you both said curiosity. That's my favorite characteristic in another human, because I think that when you're curious, there's so much potential there for learning and growth and humility and grace and all the things you just noted about each other. I think a lot of it stems from curiosity. So I'll just jump on that bandwagon. It's really beautiful.
Right. And so people understand, April and I met through Brand Builders Group. How did you discover Brand Builders Group, and how has it helped you personally and professionally?
I have said, I think Brand Builders Group saved my business. I joined just over a year ago. And so that was a year into my sickness. And we lost 80% of our revenue. Almost immediately, right? Because I just couldn't function. And I just knew that I needed something in order to help me figure it out again. And I needed like those outside eyes, lens, ears. I needed to get out of my own head and pull my blinders back and all of that. So I got referred from another program that I had been in, like an online course that I had participated in, and heard Rory Vaden speak. And there was just, like in the pit of your stomach where you're like, this is the next step. And then I saw the price tag and I freaked out. But my husband said, you need to do it. You need to do it. If you think it's the right thing, you need to do it. And so I put it on a freaking credit card and I was like, I'm going to make this money back in the next few months. And I did, and then some. And it's literally saved Ezer Co. And it is, I feel more aligned and more focused and more powerful in my work than I ever have before in 25 years. And that was through still like another year of pretty significant sickness and limitations physically. So yeah, the best is yet to come. Faux show.
All right. Back to you, Mandy.
Well, I want to hear about awareness to action retreat. Like what is it? And then I have a couple of follow-up questions from there just about retreats in general.
So fun fact that the Awareness to Action Retreat was actually designed and birthed because of work with Brand Builders Group. I was trying to figure out how do I get some revenue really quick because I need to make money or we're going to not be here anymore. And through that process, realized one of the best gifts that I can offer to leaders is a concentrated experience, like a coaching intensive, but really a retreat format that allows for leaders to pull back and reevaluate like what is going on with me and how does that inform where do I need to go as a leader for the next 12 months. And I have noticed that leaders are perpetually really, really good at creating goals and plans and strategy for their team or for the organization that they work with. And they're really shitty at doing it for themselves. Because it's one of those things that's like important, but it's not urgent. It's one of those things that like you're not really paid to do most of the time. And even in really great organizations, a lot of times you don't have personal development plans unless you're like on a performance like improvement plan to actually get right. And that's bad, right? But like, how do I actually increase and grow in my leadership and in my influence and impact? And so created this process, and it's action is an acronym. I'm not going to share the details of that with you, but it's literally like to move you from this increased place of awareness into an action plan for the next 12 months so that you can expand your leadership with ease, with lightness. But if you don't start with the awareness, you can't do that in a way that is easy and aligned and really integrity filled. So it's a 2-day retreat, and it's one of my happiest things in the world.
Nice.
I love that. Is there one coming up that we should know about?
There is. Yeah, there's one coming up it's July 30th and 31st in Orange County, California, where I live. We are literally on the beach. It is a beautiful location. I strategically keep these retreats really small, between like 5 and 10, because I want to be able to give in real time coaching feedback. I want to be able to have coaching in the room. So I'm intentionally keeping them really small. And yeah, applications are open until July the 9th.
Okay, awesome. We'll put all that in the show notes. But I want to ask a couple questions about retreats, because I know a lot of coaches, they do the retreats and everybody's got like their own DNA for it. And I've been on a couple of these before. If you're listening or watching and you've never treated yourself to something like this, if you don't go to April's, find one and do it. Because my favorite thing about it is like there's other people. It's the coach is awesome, but it's the community that
Correct.
is a real secret sauce, right?
Yep.
So within your retreat, like I've made some great friends that like I would never meet otherwise, but we're going through the exact same thing. And then after the fact, you're in touch and you're checking in with each other. You're checking with each other about those specific goals that you set while you were on a beach or in Italy or wherever you were together, right? So as the leader of this, how do you create community? Like once people get on the airplane or they get in their car and they actually get there and they're doing the damn thing, like how are you creating and fostering that community while you're there?
Yeah, so the first few hours of the first day are literally just introductions. And it's not like, hi, my name is April and I live in Orange County, California, and I'm married, but it's not that. It's like a deep dive into why you're in the room and what is it that you desperately want and need. So we'll get the bio, but we also get into like the heart of why you have paid the money and more importantly, given up the time to be in the room. And that creates such connection. Like you just said, it's like, there's so much resonance, like people raising their hands and going, me too, me too. And, there's so much research and data out there now about loneliness as an epidemic in our country. I think particularly for women who are leading, particularly for people of color, there's such an aloneness factor. And in that, like, we just need to know that we're not alone, that we are seen, that we are connected, that we belong to one another. And the way that I think just the way that I approach leadership and people helps to create this like really soft container to do scary things, which is yourself up and telling your story. But then being able to like expose that for the duration of those 2 days in kind of these live coaching segments and in doing that work and asking questions. So I don't know, it kind of feels like magical. I don't know like what kind of fairy dust is actually sprinkled, but I think it has a lot to do with the actual people that are in the room going, this is what I'm here for, and I'm all in, and we're just going to figure it out. And one other small thing. I think there's something actually also pretty cool when you get into a room with strangers.
Yeah.
I do these retreats for organizations. Like, you can bring me in and have me do this with your team. And I think that has a different kind of powerful leverage. But there's something really magical about going, like, I literally don't care what you do, but I do care about you as a person. And so I'm going to say the thing, I'm going to ask the question, I'm going to speak this into you. And there's something really beautiful about not having a vested interest in each other's lives. Not like I'm going to fire you, or I'm going to go tell your husband this thing, or I'm going to like think worse of you in the office. There's something kind of protected when you're in a room of strangers, but with a shared purpose and intention. But I also think that like the team dynamic just creates a whole different opportunity too. So both and.
Who is the perfect person? Like how, when you're thinking about getting these perfect 5 to 10 people in the room, like what are you looking for?
Yeah, first of all, it's somebody who is a high capacity leader. So I have historically done these just for women. This one in July, I'm opening up to men, even though the website just says women, because I just had this prompt in the sense that like some men needed to be in the room because of this partnership piece. Mm-hmm. So it's high capacity leaders. They want to expand their influence. They want to expand their impact, but they want to do it holistically. They don't want to sacrifice themselves. They don't want to like be successful, but like on the altar of like losing their family or like blowing their life out or going into the hospital because they're so exhausted, and they're folks who've had some successes and are feeling like they just want to level up. So they don't have to be in a transition. Sometimes that helps. They don't have to be like wanting to make a move to do something different, like externally, but they do just have a sense that there is more within them that they want to lead with, but again, not at the expense of themselves.
Beautiful. Love that. All right, Amani, I'll zip it. I promise.
Okay. Well, we want to take April back to, I'm going to say April 9th, your 21st birthday. I'm not going to say the year.
August 9th.
August 9th. August 9th. Thank you. Mm-hmm. With your 21st birthday. I think you were in Southern California, perhaps. What advice would you give to that April based on everything you've learned and been through so far in life?
Invest in yourself. You are your best investment.
What's been your favorite investment in yourself?
Oh, it's so good.
Kudos for the follow-up, Amani. That was
bumps. Spike it. Oh, I feel like it's like choosing your favorite child. Like
you can say top 3. You can say top 3 if there's a couple that come to mind. The more, the better.
Okay, I would definitely say Brand Builders Group this last year has been the best investment. It's been so strategic. It's been so mindful. And, Amani, I met you there, but I've met so many people, and it's been the most generous and generative community I've ever been a part of. And I'm really grateful for that. Not only, I'm not just the training and the courses and but it's been the people that have been like remarkable. So I'm replicating that in my own business. And I want to do more of that. Like we need that kind of approach of abundance. So I think that's one of them. I definitely think coaching at a couple of different periods of time. My very first coach with Dr. Jack Grapple, the year that I was transitioning from pastoral church leadership to entrepreneurship, I had a coach, Hendra Kutsia, who helped me create an imagination for what else was possible. And that was huge. And then I would say therapy. I've done a lot of therapy at different chunks of time, and I would not be the same person were it not for like getting my butt in a seat and having just working through past like wounds and understanding where I've come from so that I can lead more like aligned and holistically moving forward. I'll say those 3.
I love it. Great answer. Mandy, back to you to close us out.
I mean, you just spent not a week, but you spent an hour with us, which is a lot of time. So how can we support you and how can we lift you up? What are some things that, action steps that you can give to us to support and lift you?
Yeah, thank you. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm more and more active there these days. I'm connected to both of you guys there, which is lovely. And I love that kind of social platform. That's my favorite social platform to be on these days. So follow me there, and then go to our website, ezerco.com, which, fun fact, y'all, literally today, ezerco.com looks one way, and tomorrow she's going to look like an entirely different thing. We're getting a whole new website, also from a connection with Brand Builders Group. Amani and I have both worked this through with Movement Makers.
Leslie's going to be on our show in a couple weeks.
Leslie. And her husband are leading a beautiful company. So anyway, go to the website today and tomorrow, because it'll be like, you'll see the massive upgrade, and that has been really, really fun. But if there's folks that are interested in this retreat, the Awareness to Action retreat in a couple of weeks, the applications are due by July the 9th. And so if there's somebody listening that wants to apply or wants to schedule a call with me and see, like, is this the right thing right now? I'm happy to hop on a call, and would love to invest in your leadership in that way.
Beautiful. And we'll pop all that in the show notes as well, too. So you'll be able to see that. Yeah.
So thanks for being on the show. Can't wait to continue the conversation. I want to talk to your kids about going to Howard University. So we got to talk about that and everything. So make that happen. And just see, are you coming to the accelerator in a few weeks?
I am not. I'm going to try to go to the one in November.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll hope to see you soon. You're in Southern
Yeah.
California. I'll be there, but we'll arrange for time in Southern California. Just thanks for being a great guest and sharing your wisdom. And we'll put you back in the green room real quick.
April, birthday twin. It was so nice to meet you. Let's stay in touch. This was really fun.
Yes. Hold on real quick. 1 minute here. There we go. Okay. Mandy, we're back. Thank you very much, April, for being an amazing guest. Who do we have to look forward to tomorrow? Next week. Excuse me.
Next week. Yeah, I know. It's all mission together right now. Liberty Bernal.
Okay. So we'll host them next week. Remember to please rate, review, subscribe on the platform you're watching. We're doing a lot of great things on YouTube with our shorts, so make sure to follow us along there. Leave a review, tell a friend, and with that, we will see you all next week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. on the West Coast. And with that, take care.
Bye.